Jeff Goldblum, beloved movie actor Jeff Goldblum, has just announced that, he's somewhat aged. He's something of an elderly father. He's got younger kids than men his age typically would. And so he's thinking about the future, what happens when he's gone. And he says he's not going to leave his kids any money.
Now that I'm raising kids, I'm no, conventionalist, but I know the system that we're in, and I think sooner than later, but I don't want to scare them. They should figure out, I love the creative life. It saved my life.
Yeah.
But also this idea that, hey, you got to row your own boat.
Yeah.
So
it's an important thing to teach kids. Most people don't.
Right.
I'm not
going to do it for you, and you're not going to want me to do it for you. You gotta figure out how to find out what's wanted and needed, and where that intersects with your love and passion and what you can do. And even if it doesn't, you might have to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we all hear this advice and we think, good on Jeff Goldblum. Very American. Kids, I've made $1 zillion, but you got to cut your own path. You're not just going to rest on daddy's money. You're not getting daddy's money. You got to figure things out yourself. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And there's some wisdom to this. Because many of us know rich kids who just inherited some money and wasted their lives, and it didn't make them happy and they didn't flourish. And okay, sure. So we say, go out there, cut your own path. That's good. But that can be taken to an extreme too. That is, I think, a consequence of liberalism. Because what is liberalism about? Liberalism is about the individual. It's about forgetting about tradition, forgetting about legacy, doing what you want, being innovative, creative destruction, individual effort, individual everything. And that isn't really how society has worked for all of history. And it's not really how human nature works, as we talk about on this show a lot. So Jeff Goldblum, it seems to me, is going way too far in the other direction to say, I'm not giving my kids any money and they just have to figure everything out themselves because otherwise they'll become wastrels. Well, what if they don't? What if, yes, you teach your kids to cultivate good desires and to work really hard and to be diligent and to find things that turn them on and get them excited to get out of bed in the morning, and also give them your money and also give them a financial legacy and also give them some generational wealth. How about, instead of saying, I've got to keep this wealth from you because you might squander it and thereby ruin your life, what if we say, hey, I'm going to teach my kids to be good stewards of their inheritance? That I think is missing from the American ethos right now, on the left and on the right. And I think it's a consequence of liberalism, which ignores the past, which says we don't need anything to do with our forebears. They were probably racist and stupid, and we're so brilliant, we're going to do everything on our own. But generational wealth is a good thing. And I'm not just talking about money. Text Knowles to 989898. Can your savings weather another economic storm? During times of economic uncertainty or market volatility, investors tend to flock to gold as a safe haven asset. Its value tends to increase during turbulent times, providing a buffer against market downturns. This is why people are flocking to gold now, and why Birch Gold is busier than ever. Birch Gold understands that navigating financial institutions and financial decisions can be daunting. That is why their dedicated in-house IRA department is there to guide you every step of the way. Birch Gold is committed to addressing your questions and concerns promptly. Their team is always ready to provide answers and clarity, whether it's about fees, taxes on rollovers, or the timing of the process. They are here to ensure you feel valued and well-informed. Text Knowles, KNWLES, to 989898 to talk to one of Birch Gold's experts and claim your free info kit on gold. You will learn how to convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in gold. Best part is, it doesn't cost you a penny out of pocket. Just text Knowles, KNWLES, to 989898. That is Knowles to 989898. I'm talking about generational wisdom. That's an important thing. Generational homes. There was a home, I think it burned down in the 90s, but there was a Knowles family home in New Hampshire. It wasn't a particularly nice home. It's not like the Knowles family had any particular amount of money, but it had just been standing on this plot of land since the 17th century. It had just been there since like 1635 or something like that. And they made some additions to it, but it was a visible expression of a family legacy. Without much money, without much fanfare, it was just there, and you could say, "Oh, that's cool. That was my family." There's some history there. There's a tie to the land and to the culture, and that part is really missing. That's the problem with the individualism that the right has embraced in recent decades. Is, we're conservatives, guys. We want to conserve stuff. I think it was Jim Mattis who, General Mattis, before he fell out of favor on the right, there were all those great quotes of his going around where he'd, go up to a bunch of terrorists and say, "I'm going to kill all of you if you don't do exactly what I say." But one of the quotes that was going around was about how he loves to read books. And he said he loves to read books because he wants other people to make his mistakes for him. He doesn't want to make his own mistakes. He wants to learn from other people's mistakes. That's a kind of inheritance. That's a kind of generational wisdom. And I think the conservative movement in America is moving more in this direction. It's much more in the classical direction, which is, hey, we want to conserve stuff. And that means conserving traditions, conserving ways of life, conserving institutions, conserving buildings, conserving borders, conserving laws, and yes, conserving money. Being conservative with your money means kind of saving it and spending it prudently, first on the ones that we love and those to whom we have the nearest obligation, and then to others outside of that. The liberals always flip this on its head, though, and the liberals' bleeding heart is basically to ignore. I don't mean to beat up too much on Jeff Goldblum. I'm using him as a point of departure to talk about this broader political problem, but to say, forget about the people around me. Forget about the people in my community. I'm going to care about humanity in the abstract. So I'm going to leave my money to some charity that, does something in Djibouti and ignore the community around me that I engage with every single day. Very, very backwards. There are priorities of charity. There's an order of charity. It begins with those to whom you have the nearest obligation, and out from there and out from there and out from there. Just as the nation state is, patriotism is an extension of filial piety, the love that you would have for your parents, the love that you would have for your family. We want to be conservative with that. But we're not conservative anymore, especially with our money. The conservatives, so-called, just want to spend all their money on a bunch of nonsense, sending their money overseas. For goodness sakes, we saw it this week. Sending our money. We'll send our money to Ukraine. We'll send our money to Taiwan. We'll send our money to Israel. We'll send our money everywhere else. Well, you're not going to conserve very much if you have that kind of flippant attitude toward your inheritance. Whether we're talking about a financial one, we're talking about a cultural one, or a religious inheritance, or a family inheritance. That was a good, man. And if you want more clips and episodes and interviews, go ring that bell, subscribe to the Michael Knowles YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.